And we archive all our shows on our website, drjoe.com. So you could always go back if you can't watch the whole show. I totally understand that. But we have, I don't know, maybe 4,000 hours of content on our website, drjoe.com. So chances are you're going to find something that you like. There's always good stuff out there. Hey, folks, welcome. All the cameras are working now. I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. We're going to talk today about really common symptoms and what causes them. Now, I'm going to talk for 24 minutes. Whatever platform you're on, you can type in any health question you have. At the end of 24 minutes, John's going to read me any questions you have. Then I'm going to do another 24 minutes, and then we're going to do another question and answer. So this is a great opportunity to have your questions answered. And if you're watching this on a stream, if it's not live, you can always send your questions to me at drjoe.com, drjoe.com. So, John, I'm ready to go whenever you are. Ready? Hey, folks, Dr. Joe Esposito here. Glad you're with me today. We're going to talk today about some real common symptoms that a lot of people have, everyday things, and some nutritional deficiencies that might be linked to those symptoms. Because I've been in practice about 40 years now, over 40 years now, and patients come in every day. I've got numbness. I got tingling. My hands are cold. My eyes are puffy. I got fatigue. What do you think's causing it? So my team of doctors and I are really good investigators, like the Sherlock Holmes of healthcare, and we try to find out why people are having problems. And that's a unique approach in healthcare. Most doctors say, okay, you got cold hands, cold feet, let's give you something to warm them up. You got fatigue, let's give you something to boost your energy. I want to find out why you have these symptoms. The trendy phrase now is called functional medicine. And so we always try to get to the cause of the problem, not just treat the symptoms. I don't do medicine. I just do nutrition and health and supplements, chiropractic, things like this. So let's jump right in because I have a lot to talk about today on why you might be having your problems. So we mentioned cold hands, cold feet. This comes in a lot. Many times it's called Raynaud's phenomenon. It used to be called Raynaud's syndrome. Or it used to be called Raynaud's phenomenon. Now it's called Raynaud's syndrome, where people's hands can turn white. They're so cold. Same thing with their feet. And from a medical standpoint, it's an unknown cause. Unknown etiology is the fancy word. But what I find in my practice is people have pinched nerves. In most cases, not all, but most. So, for example, if I have a pinched nerve in my neck, that nerve controls my shoulders, arms, hands, and neck. So I might have neck pain, shoulder pain, arm pain, hand pain, wrist pain. But that same nerve controls my heart and lungs. So that can affect breathing and blood pressure. So understand something. You got pain in your neck, numbness, tingling, heart, and lungs. But the nerves and the blood vessels, as they exit from the spine, are wrapped around each other. So if I have a pinched nerve, I also have a pinched blood vessel. So many times when you have issues, pinched nerves, chiropractically, we can put the bones back in place, open up the nerve supply, and it's good news. But we're also opening up the blood supply. Why is that important? Because blood brings nutrients to the area and flushes out waste products. So if you have a lot of built up uric acid, let's say, uric acid is a chemical that can build up in your muscles. And if you look at uric acid under a microscope, it looks like spikes. And these spikes are digging into your muscles and your nerves, and it hurts. So if I pinch a nerve, it can cause the muscle to spasm, which can also pinch the blood vessels, which cuts off the blood supply, which prevents the body from flushing waste products out of the area and bringing fresh oxygenated blood into the area as well. So if you have cold hands and cold feet, I always think, is there a physical component? Maybe it's pinched nerves, pinched blood vessels, clogged blood vessels. A lot of people have clogged arteries due to diet. But from a nutrition standpoint, it could be that you're low in iron. You may not just be carrying enough oxygen to keep the blood flowing, or vitamin B12. Now, B12, if you have B12 deficiency, you may have something called pernicious anemia. It can affect the formation of the red blood cells. Now, if you're going to talk about B12, you got to talk about different types. The two major types are cyanocobalamin and methylcobalamin. Cyanocobalamin, cobalamin means B12, has a molecule of cyanide attached to it, cyano. Methylcobalamin has methyl group attached to it, and it's easy to utilize and absorb. Now, you can do a blood test, I could do a genetic test actually, to find out if you have something called MTHFR gene flaw. It's a gene in your body, and it helps methylate. Now, methylation is a big term. It covers a lot of things. It converts things into usable forms. It helps detoxify and carry waste products out of the body. And so if you can't methylate properly, a lot of your health problems may be due to a methylation issue. And so what do we have to do? We got to fix the methylation issue. Well, you can't because it's a gene flaw. So what if we just gave you supplements that are ready methylated? What a concept. So most B12 on the market is cyanocobalamin because it's cheap. So why not just take a methylcobalamin? It's about the same price, maybe tiny fraction higher, but everybody can use it. Or we can do a $600 test on you to determine if you have the MTHFR gene. 60% of us have the flaw. And we just go ahead and then put you on methyl supplements. We'll just take the methyl supplements to begin with, methylated supplements. So it could be a thyroid issue as well. So it's a good idea to do a thyroid panel and find out what's happening with your thyroid. And it could be things like selenium and iodine. So it's a couple of different things it could be. Your circulation suffers if you don't have proper red blood cells, but also if your hormones are out of whack. So what do we do about this? Well, you can always get your ferritin and your thyroid levels checked. Now, ferritin is your stored iron, okay? And you want to make sure you have enough stored iron in the body. Most people have enough, okay? Men and postmenopausal women. Now, you can test it if you want to. If you eat for example, I don't eat animal products, so I don't eat a lot of blood. I don't eat any blood. And so blood has a lot of heme iron in it, and that could store iron in my body. Now, too much iron is worse than not enough iron. So that's why it's a good idea to get your blood work done, get it tested, let's see what you got, and then we can determine, do you need iron or do you need to go donate blood because your iron is too high? Most men and postmenopausal women do very well when they donate blood. I donate blood all the time. It's a good idea to get rid of the excess iron. Get your thyroid level checked. But what can we do proactively? We can do all this testing, that's great, but what can we do right now? Start eating things that are high in iodine, like Dr. Joe's Super Greens. Dr. Joe's Super Green has chlorella and spirulina in it, which are excellent sources of iodine. Most people get their iodine from iodized salt. I don't want you doing that because table salt is junk. You can do Baja Gold salt, you can do Himalayan salt, you can do pink salt, Celtic salt. Probably Celtic is one of the best ones, and Baja Gold. Himalayan is okay, but don't get it from China. Because many times from China it has heavy metals in it. So stop using white table salt. Just throw it away. It has absolutely no use in your life whatsoever. Maybe if you want to pour it on ice, if you have ice on your steps at night in the winter, that might work. Other than that, never, ever, ever under any circumstances use table salt, white table salt. So if you're going to use like a Himalayan salt or a Celtic salt or a Baja Gold salt, you're looking at 70 plus nutrients, minerals that many of you are deficient in. And so you can get it that way. But Super Greens has iodine. Salt isn't a good source of iodine. And the iodine is a great way to get the thyroid working properly. Because your thyroid hormones, T1, T2, T3, and T4, mainly T3 and T4, the T means how many molecules of, how many molecules of iodine are attached to that hormone. T1 is 1, T2 is 2. So you got to get your iodine. If you don't have iodine, your body might start using cheap things like fluorine, chlorine, or bromine. Those are called haloids, and that can really mess up your thyroid. The body's trying everything it can to make these hormones, and it doesn't have what it needs. Simple fix, take Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source every day, like everybody should anyway. Very cheap, easy fix, and it covers a myriad of issues. It has the B12 in it. It has the iron in it. It has the iodine, has the selenium. So it answers a lot of your questions there. Brazil nuts are great too. You can do Brazil nuts, but don't do too much selenium. Too much selenium can cause problems. And of course, you should have a salad every day, and salad green leafy vegetables, which is going to give you a lot of the nutrients anyway. So cold hands, cold feet, check for pinched nerves and pinched blood vessels, and then Super Greens Essential Source, and get a lot of fruits and vegetables. That oftentimes, most times, solves the problem. You can also consider nitric oxide supplements, like Dr. Joe's Nitric Oxide Support opens up the blood vessels and increases circulation. If you have puffy eyes or eyelid swelling, some people have it. I have the Italian puffy eyes, the Sylvester Stallone eyes that all the Espositos have. But if it's really big, it could be, again, an iron deficiency. So what do we do about that? Super Greens is a real simple fix. And then get your thyroid tested. And we can test your thyroid at our office if you want to. And we can find out what's going on with the thyroid. Because the thyroid does so many different things. So important. And a lot of people beat up their thyroid because they take haloids into their body. Remember we said bromine, chlorine, and fluorine? And they can clog up the thyroid, preventing you from absorbing iodine. So if you have enough iodine, if you're using superchlorinated water, a fluorinated toothpaste, bromine is used in dough and a lot of commercial breads. They used to use iodine. because they look very similar from molecular structure, chlorine, fluorine, and bromine, and iodine. So we used to use iodine in our breads. And then we realized, wait a minute, bromine's cheaper. Let's use bromine, get the same results, but it's toxic. It can be toxic to the thyroid gland. So I know I'm getting a little complicated there. If you have a lot of canker sores or sores in your mouth, that could be a sign of B12, iron, and folate. Now, there's folic acid and folate. Folic acid is the type that has to be methylated or converted into folate. Don't use folic acid. Use a methylated B complex, like Dr. Joe's B complex, and you'll get your B vitamins that you need. It's also going to have zinc in there as well, and zinc can help the immune system. Helps repair mucous membranes. So if you have canker sores, it's a sign. Now, my mother used to say if you bite your fingernails, you're going to get canker sores. And she's right. Because when you bite your fingernails, you put a lot of germs and viruses and goop in your mouth, and that could cause inflammation and damage to the mucous membranes as well. So don't bite your fingernail, is what my mother told me. And mom was right. Mom's right about most things, by the way. I don't know about your mother, but my mother was right. Of course, when you're young, you don't know that. When you're young, you think you know more than them. It's kind of funny. A lot of times I'll hire doctors want to come train under me. And sometimes we hire them, sometimes I let them intern. And the young ones know way more than I do. They're so smart when they come out of school. And then after a couple of months, they go, wow, I don't know anything. When you realize you don't know anything is when you start learning things. I know that sounds very philosophical, but it is. When you walk in there saying, okay, what can I do better? What can I learn about my health? What can I learn about life? What can I learn about relationships? When you finally open your mind and say, all right, I'm willing to hear whatever you got to say, that's when you really start to see changes, which is really kind of cool. And that's what's cool about this show, is I appreciate you listening because I'm giving you a lot of information, a lot of it you've never heard before. How can I open up my mind and say, okay, I'm going in here with an open mind. What can I learn? And I appreciate you doing that. So puffy eyes, you can also do things like cucumber slices. You always see the movies where the people are at a spa and have cucumber slices over their eyes. Well, cucumbers are high in nutrients that can be absorbed directly through the skin, which leads me to another statement. Your skin is a sponge. Anything you put on your skin can be absorbed. So if I'm going to use toxic sunscreens, the only sunscreen you should use is zinc oxide as the main ingredient. That's it. If I'm going to use toxic sunscreens, perfumes, hairsprays, colognes, deodorants, shampoos, conditioners, understand whatever you're putting in your body is getting absorbed. Tattoos. That ink is there forever. And your body is attacking that on a regular basis because it's a foreign object. Body doesn't like foreign objects. So don't put toxic chemicals in or on your skin because they're going to get absorbed. And when they get absorbed, your liver has to kick in, your immune system has to kick in. It becomes a mess. How about brain fog? How many people have brain fog? Raise your hands. A lot of people do. I see it every day. And especially as I'm getting older, I'm starting to see a lot of my friends start to get it. And that worries me because that means they have nutritional deficiencies or something else, and it's usually pretty easy to fix. So omega-3 fatty acids. Omega-3 fatty acids are what we call essential fatty acids. You have to have them for the body to work properly, and you have to get them from an outside source. Some animals can make omega-3 fatty acids. Algae, for example, makes omega-3 fatty acids. Excellent source of omega-3s. Krill eats the algae and gets the omega-3. Fish eat the krill and get the omega-3s. So let's go back to the source that produces it, algae. The purest form, very low risk of mercury toxicity, which fish is very high in mercury toxicity. And it's already what's called it's bound to a phospholipid, so it's already easy to absorb. So algae oil is going to be the best. Whenever you have a brain issue, my first thought is algae oil, omega-3 fatty acids. They're essential. So, for example, another thing that's essential to humans is vitamin C. We as humans can't make vitamin C. We have to get it from an outside source. We get it from our plants. And you might have heard the term that person was used as a guinea pig, right? As an experiment, it's guinea pig. Well, where that came from was the doctors who were doing original research on vitamin C realized that a lot of animals can make vitamin C. Guinea pigs can't. Neither can humans. So they use guinea pigs to use experiments because they can't make vitamin C in the vitamin C experiments. And so that's where it came from, to be a guinea pig. Useless information. I got lots of that. Vitamin D is so important for brain function. Most of us are deficient in vitamin D. I recommend 5,000 to 10,000 international units of vitamin D3 with K2 every day. Now, why D3 with K2? A lot of you are taking D3, never heard of K2. One of the many things that vitamin D does, it absorbs calcium from your food and brings it into your blood vessels. Vitamin K2 takes it from your blood vessels and brings it into the bones, the calcium. If you're taking D3 without K2, you have a tendency to build up calcium in your blood vessels. And now you get something called a calcium score. Calcium score is how much calcium is built up in your arteries, in your blood vessels. It can increase your risk of heart disease, diabetes, dementia, stroke. So take D3, yes, make sure it has K2 with it. Very, very important. So I had one of my coworkers, and she came to me, a lot of health problems. She drank a lot of diet soda. She had arthritis, big mess. And I took x-rays on her, and she had calcification all over her body. Her arteries were just laden with calcium. And I said, my gosh, what do you do? I've never seen this much calcium. She goes, I take 10,000, 20,000 international units of vitamin D every day. But she doesn't have the K2 because her diet is junk. You can get vitamin K1 from fruits and vegetables, which can convert into vitamin K2. But because her diet was such junk and she was taking the vitamin D, she had this calcium buildup. So I told her we got to get your vitamin D levels measured and then get you on vitamin K2 as well and start eating some fruits and vegetables. And she did, and it cleared up, so that was good. But clogged arteries can affect brain fog and brain function. And, of course, B12. So you're seeing a pattern here, aren't you? What are we talking about? We talked about 4 or 5 different symptoms so far. B12, selenium, iodine, B12, folate, another B vitamin, iodine deficiency, vitamin D, B12. So the thing is that, I've got a lot more to cover too. The thing is that a lot of things are caused by the same issue. I might not know what's causing an issue, but I know if I get the body working at the best it possibly can, a lot of the symptoms go away. And that's the approach of functional medicine. Let's find out why. I believe you have heart palpitations. Why? I believe you have high blood pressure, diabetes, obesity. You can't get off your cigarettes. You're addicted. I believe that. Why is that happening? And what can we do to make it better? So if you have a health issue, if you have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, digestive issues, sciatica, headaches, come see us. In the Atlanta area, we have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. I want to be your doctor. Let's check your nervous system. See if you have pinched nerves and blood vessels. 90% of the time, you won't know it. 90% of your nerves don't feel pain. So you can have pinched nerves and pinched blood vessels and not know it. My team of doctors and I are trained to test the nerves that feel pain and test the nerves that don't feel pain. Let's look at your digestive system. Are you absorbing your nutrients? Are you going to the bathroom like you're supposed to? I had a patient come in the other day, and she said, Dr. Joe, I think I'm okay. She goes, I might have a little constipation. I said, how often do you have a bowel function? She goes, about once every 3 or 4 weeks. Okay, that's a problem. It should be food in, food out. At least once a day, preferably twice a day. Once every 4 weeks, not acceptable. Now, we have a supplement called Dr. Joe's Intestinal Formula that can get that moving, but that's not the cause. So I'll get her on a supplement and say, okay, let's find out why you have the problem. And we did. She had a pinched nerve in her low back. The valve called her ileocecal valve was spasmed, and she had a horrible diet. Wasn't a mystery. Easy to fix. But she suffered for years with this problem because nobody ever said why. So if you want to make an appointment, drjoe.com. Normally the first visit with us is $940. For you, my listeners, I've reduced that to $299. That's an exam, x-rays, consultation, first treatment, going over the x-rays on a follow-up visit, and a complete nutrition evaluation. If you're not making an appointment right now, you should. Because patients come to me every day and say, why didn't I do this sooner? Why did I suffer so long? I have medical doctors, orthopedists, neurologists, neurosurgeons, nurses come to me all the time and say, I've never heard of this before. I've never heard of this approach before. And all of them say the same thing. It makes perfect sense. We've never been taught to look for the cause. We always say treat the symptoms. I shouldn't say never. That's a heavy word. But they're traditionally taught to look for the symptoms and then treat the symptoms, not get to the cause. So if you are in pain, if you have headaches, if you're in a car accident, sports injury, workers' comp case, come see us. drjoe.com. Book your appointment right now. We can do remote consultations if we need to as well. drjoe.com. Stop suffering. So we're talking today about nutritional deficiencies that are causing symptoms. Now, when COVID came around, remember that? Some of you might have remembered that little incident. A lot of people lost their sense of smell. I did. And there's a problem with that. So not just COVID viruses, but a lot of viruses can make you lose your sense of smell. It may be tied to a zinc deficiency because zinc helps build the immune system, but zinc also helps with smell. So I started taking zinc supplementation. Well, I took a little extra. I always took it anyway. Pumpkin seeds, cashews, those are great sources of zinc. So I started taking pumpkin seeds because they do a lot of things. Help with the prostate, clean out parasites, great source of iron, zinc. So and selenium. I started taking pumpkin seeds, and I started stimulating my nerves. Well, how do you stimulate your nerves that smell? Smell things. I got some peppermint. I got some orange essential oils, and I would smell them multiple times a day. And once I lost my sense of smell and I started increasing my zinc, don't take too much, it can be toxic, but short term I increased my zinc, and then I started using things to stimulate my smell, problem came back, the problem was resolved almost immediately. So if you lose your sense of smell, it's a big issue, because also loss of sense of smell, those are symptoms that could ultimately lead to things like dementia, loss of hearing, loss of smell, loss of sight. You start to withdraw. And when you withdraw, the brain doesn't work as well as it should. Your brain needs stimulation. It's like any other muscle. You got to move it. And so if the brain needs stimulation, what you do is listen to things like this podcast, this show, and my podcast. I'm sorry, Dr. Joe for the Health of It is the podcast. Dr. Joe for the Health of It, and listen to him over and over and over again. I do a live show as well. I do it on Sunday nights in the Atlanta area, and we have those archived on my website as well. So go to the bottom of the homepage of my website, drjoe.com, and you'll see Dr. Joe's show and podcast. Click on that. Between the two, we have about 4,000 hours of content. Start listening. Start stimulating your brain. Whenever I do anything that I'm not like focused on, if I'm doing yard work, if I'm doing housework, I'll pop on a podcast and start to learn new things. Because I got to learn new things too. Got to bring new stuff to you. So the podcast is a great way to pick those things up. Dr. Joe for the Health of It. And if you follow me on social media, which you should, we post every single day. We post little health tips every single day, at least 1 minute. Dr. Joe Esposito. Facebook is the Dr. Joe Esposito. And if you want to see my pretty face, go to YouTube. YouTube has all our videos there. And you can see my pretty face as well. So we have Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn, podcast, website. I want to get this information out to you. I want to be your doctor. And the cool part is when you listen to these shows and podcasts, it stimulates your brain. And that is so important. I had dinner the other night with some friends, and they're retired. They're in their late 60s. And I said, what do you do all day? I mean, I'm still working like crazy. And they said, oh, we find things to do. And I said, okay. And sometimes we just sit around and watch movies or something like that. That's not good. Because what will happen is that'll start to cause the brain to not function as well as it used to. You need that stimulation. You need oxygen, and you do that by breathing properly. And if you're sitting down all day, you're crunching your lungs, you're not breathing properly. And then you need nutrition. And nutrition is the supplements. Minimum, super greens, essential source. Minimum supplements everybody should be taking. Vitamin D3, cheapest insurance policy you'll ever take. Dr. Joe's B-complex, methylated B-complex. Because we pee out a lot of our B vitamins every day, except B12, you got to replace them. And B vitamins work for brain, for nerves, for numbness, tingling, overall health, digestion. So the minimum would be super green essential source, vitamin D and B complex. I take omega-3 fatty acids as well. You know what? They're not as inexpensive as everything else, but they're necessary. I take nitric oxide to open up my blood vessels. We have a new one out, Dr. Joe's Chewables. Dr. Joe's Energy Chewables. It's nitric oxide and ginseng, citrulline and ginseng. Oh, my gosh. You start chewing those every day, you feel great. And they taste good, too. All of these are on the website, drjoe.com. I can't do caffeine. If I do caffeine, I get a headache. So I had to invent something that would give me energy without hurting my brain. This actually helps my brain. So that's why it's something you want to consider. But drjoe.com. All right. Oh, my gosh. I got to take a break. We have so much more to cover. Fingernail issues, head issues, sweating, ice cravings, heart palpitation, bleeding gums. That's all coming up. So if you have any questions, drjoe.com. Follow me on social media, podcast. Best thing to do is really make an appointment to come see us. But any questions you have, you can send me your basic question through the website, drjoe.com, drjoe.com. Now, I will answer basic questions. If you start sending me 4, 5, 6 questions, I'm not going to do that. Because you have more complexity than I feel comfortable with just discussing in a quick general answer. I always say it's a general answer, it's not specific, but I want to give you as much information as I can. I want you to take control of your body and your health. And as we get older, you don't have a lot of time left, folks. It's unfortunate, but time's ticking, man. and I want you to get well. So drjoe.com. I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right. Good. What you got?
Should I get my lipoprotein insulin resistance index checked?
Yes. That's easy. But the key is, once you get it checked, what do you do about it? Bring the information to me, and I'll put together a protocol for you. Because information is great, but if you don't do anything about it, it's useless. That's why a lot of these blood tests people come to me with, well, I got this blood test, and this is what it says. What did the doctor tell you? Well, I said, well, let's monitor it. Monitor for what? The car's making noise. What should I do? Wait till the engine falls out? No. So, and you can bring your blood test. You can bring your x-rays to me. I'm happy to give you a second opinion. What else?
Should I eat red and yellow peppers?
Yes, absolutely. All of them, by the way, come from green peppers. I don't know if you knew that. Green peppers just mature. And when they mature, some become orange, some become yellow, some become red. But the green pepper is the immature colored pepper. The darker the color, the better. So green, it's better to have the red, orange, or yellow. They have more nutrients in them. But they all come from the same place.
I cook with coconut oil, but should I be concerned about the high fat and cholesterol?
There is no cholesterol in coconut oil, so the answer is no for that. Cholesterol only comes from animal products. So coconut oil is zero cholesterol. It can have saturated fats in it, but it doesn't have cholesterol. And yes, you don't want to have too much fat. Be careful with the fat. You maybe 10, 20% of your dietary intake should be fat. So if you're doing more than that, then the answer is be careful. The answer, cut back. So what else?
What is the best source of B12?
Dr. Joe's B complex and Dr. Joe's essential source. You can get it from animal products, but you asked me for the best source. Animal products have so many downsides that I don't recommend eating animal products for B12. But I don't eat any animal products at all. I haven't in 40 years now. But what I find is if you're going to be vegan or vegetarian, I do recommend you take Dr. Joe's B complex and Dr. Joe's essential source for the B12. But everybody should take it anyway. You need the nutrients that are in there. They're essential to your body. So take a supplement. What else?
Is it okay to have tattoos removed?
You know, I'm not sure about the research on that, but I would say yes, because what it does, it drives the ink back further into the skin, from what I understand, and that can be an issue. But at least then it's over with. So I am not a fan of tattoos. I don't care. I think they look nice, but it's not worth the health issue. So I would say yes. Try to get your tattoos removed if you can.
I eat a lot of broccoli, green beans, and sweet peas, but should I add some color to this dish?
Yes. Yeah, you want to eat the rainbow, as we say. So start having some fruits. Have some mangoes, some cherries. When I make my super greens and essential source in the morning, I'm on the kick now. I bought a big bag of frozen organic mangoes and a big bag of frozen organic cherries, and I'll throw some mango and cherry in with some almond milk, coconut milk, super green essential source. We have a new product coming out this week, I think, John, if I'm correct. We getting the creatine in this week, maybe? Yeah, it should be this week or next week. I'm going to talk about that a lot because creatine is necessary to build muscle mass, but also for brain function. And you only take like 5 milligrams. It's a little tiny amount. A container has 100 servings in it. So it's really inexpensive. So I add the creatine to it. I add the vitamin D. And then I make a smoothie kind of every morning I drink it. So yes, eat the rainbow. Eat a lot more colors is the answer. Yeah.
That is all.
All right, cool. Let me have a sip of tea. Ready for part 2? Ready? Hey, folks, Dr. Joe Esposito here. If you stayed with me, thank you. If you just joined me, welcome. I know everybody's busy. I appreciate that. The good news is we put all of our podcasts on our podcast service, Dr. Joe for the Health of It, whatever your podcast service is. And we archive all of our podcasts and all of our radio shows and TV shows on our website, drjoe.com. So scroll to the bottom of the homepage, and you'll see Dr. Joe Show and podcasts all archived there, thousands of hours of content. So scroll through it, search it. Whenever you're doing something that's mindless, driving, cleaning the house, when I do it to yard work, I listen to podcasts. Listen to our shows. And the Dr. Joe Show, we take questions live on the air, and so you can hear other people's questions as well. The podcast is just me yapping. So whichever you prefer, shake it up. It's an excellent source of information, but it's also good for your brain. Many times our brain become mush, as my mother used to say. Mushad. I don't know if that's a real word or not. Sounds Italian. But your brain becomes mushad. And so we don't want that happening. So listen to the podcast, learn, Ask questions. If you have questions, send them to me through the website, drjoe.com. Happy to answer your questions for you. So we're talking today about nutrient deficiencies that cause symptoms. And if you have pale nails, fingernails, or discolored nail beds, that can be a symptom called of low iron or B12 or circulatory issues. So what you do for this is you take your fingernail and squeeze it between your other two fingers, okay? And then release it. It should turn pink very quickly. If it stays white, that could be a sign of circulatory issues. Now, we talked earlier, if you weren't listening, or if you weren't tuned in, I'm sorry, if you weren't listening. If you weren't tuned in, we were talking about cold hands and cold feet. And there's something called Raynaud syndrome, and that could be an issue where you have cold hands, cold feet. Could be pinched nerves from the neck, pinched blood vessels from the neck, or in the low back, in the feet from the low back. But we want to make sure we're getting enough B12, and we make sure we have enough iron. Now, we said earlier, too, I'll say it again, too much iron is worse than not enough iron. Because the iron can oxidize and can essentially rust in your heart and your blood vessels. So get your iron tested. If it's too high, you want to start donating blood right away. Very important. I donate blood every 6 to 8 weeks. I find men and postmenopausal women probably do well with donating blood. Now, you can get a blood test done, but they will test your iron for you. They used to prick your finger and do a test. Now they just put a clip over your finger. Last time I was there, and it's, I don't know how they do it, some type of, voodoo radio waves or something, and it tells your iron level. So that's a good way to do it. And that'll tell there's ferritin, which is stored iron, and then there's regular iron, there's hemoglobin, and hematocrit is, and some of those are ratios, make sure you're not dehydrated. So they test for a lot of those things when you donate blood, so it's a free test. And they'll also test for social diseases, not all of them, but some of them. They don't test for herpes, but it's also a good way to get a scan. And I had a friend, she was a nurse. I haven't seen her in years, actually. But she would say if she started getting interested in dating somebody, she would ask him a simple question. Do you donate blood? And if they said yes, she kind of a screening, like, okay, well, at least a lot of the major diseases are being scanned out. If you have major diseases, sexual diseases, they will deny your blood. So just a quick scan. So we're talking today about nutritional deficiencies and what symptoms they cause. If you have excessive sweating, especially around your head, you ever see people, and maybe it's you're just sweating all the time, that can be a vitamin D deficiency. And it could be excessive, overworked adrenal glands. The adrenal glands produce energy, they produce hormone levels, and they produce anti-inflammatories. One of the supplements I take every day is Dr. Joe's Adrenal Support. Because as I'm getting older, nothing works like it used to, unfortunately, except my brain. My brain works better. But the body starts to not work as well as it should, and the adrenal glands do a lot, especially as you get older, because your testicles and your ovaries aren't doing what they used to do. So the adrenal glands are the backup plans to produce your hormones. And if you do a lot of caffeine, a lot of stimulants, you've had a bad diet, you're under a lot of stress, mental, chemical, or physical stress, you essentially burn out your adrenal glands. So it's kind of interesting. Oh, by the way, I'm not going to get through all my notes today. I never get through all my notes. So if you want a copy of today's notes, the show notes, I'm happy to send them to you, absolutely free, my gift to you. You can just send me an email and just put symptoms and causes. Let's do that. We'll call this show Symptoms and Causes. Type symptoms and causes in the email. Send me an email through the website, drjoe.com. There's multiple ways to contact me. Little bot pops up, says you want to chat. It says send questions here. You can say contact us, well, however you want to do it. And just say symptoms and causes. I'll send you a copy of the notes absolutely free. So why do I do this? A, I talk fast, and I understand that. And B, why I have this information. I want to give it to you. And I want you to have this knowledge so that you can take better care of your health. Healthcare costs are skyrocketing. Life expectancy decreasing. Wait a minute, we're spending more and getting worse results? That doesn't sound like a good idea, does it? That's what we're doing in healthcare right now, generally speaking. So let's have you start taking control of your own health. So if you want copies of these show notes, drjoe.com. And any health question you have, drjoe.com, send it over to me. This is a weird one. People start craving things like ice or even dirt. It's called pica, or pica, depending how you want to pronounce it. And many times it's a mineral deficiency. And if that's the case, Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Essential Source usually solve that problem so you don't have to be eating dirt. It really is a real thing. Pregnant women a lot of times will get this because their body is so depleted in nutrients and now the baby's stealing what they have. So they get this condition. So Super Greens and Essential Source, real simple fix, real inexpensive, and it tastes great too. Now I want to talk about irregular heartbeats, palpitations, high blood pressure, It could be a nutritional issue. Could be magnesium. Could be potassium. Because your heart runs on electricity. All your nerves run on electricity. So think about this. You and I are not plugged into the wall. We have to generate our own electricity. Well, how do we do it? Internally. And sodium and potassium, it's how the body generates nerve impulses. So if you can imagine this, and it's hard to get, I know, but you have sodium on the inside of the cell, potassium on the outside of the cell. And they switch back and forth, in and out, in and out. There's a little pump that brings them in and out, in and out. And as they switch back and forth, they generate electricity, like a spinning, coil or something like that. You're generating back and forth with sodium and potassium. So if you don't have the right amounts of sodium and potassium, it can affect your electrical pump. You need magnesium as well. You need magnesium to absorb B12 as well, too. I'm sorry, not B12, vitamin D. So where do we get all these nutrients? Well, things like avocados, nuts, seeds, green leafy vegetables, Dr. Joe's Super Greens, Dr. Joe's Essential Source. You got to rebuild those electrolytes. Now, don't be fooled. People say, well, I'm going to drink those sports drinks. They're loaded with electrolytes. They have a few electrolytes in them. They don't have the full spectrum. And they're, I guess always, I've never seen any other way, loaded with dyes, chemicals, artificial sweeteners, synthetic supplements, not the type of electrolyte replacement you want. A banana is going to do way more than if you're going to have a bought electrolyte drink. And if you want to make your own electrolyte drink, it's real simple. Get some filtered water, which you should drink filtered water anyway. And if you want to know what filter I use, just send me an email. I'll send you the company I use. They're not cheap. I have a whole house filter. It's not cheap, but well worth it. Trust me. I wouldn't lead you wrong. So what you could do is get some Celtic sea salt or some Baja Gold sea salt and just add maybe a quarter teaspoon to your water, or just use it when you're seasoning your food. You're going to get like 70 or 80 different minerals just doing that. And boy, is that ever cheap. You can buy a bag of salt for $15, $20. I mean, wow, that's expensive for salt, Dr. Joe. It's going to last you years. And it's a supplement, actually. So think of it as buying a supplement, not your salt. So don't ever use white salt. Just use Baja Gold, Celtic salt, Himalayan salt, but not from China. Those are much better choices. And you're going to get those minerals that are so essential for things like heart function. Now, I talked about this a while ago, about gums, your gums in your teeth. The gums are so important because the same membrane that covers your teeth covers your heart. So if you have tooth infections, gum infections, the infection can spread to your heart, and that can cause some real serious health issues. So what do we do about that? You need to get yourself to a dentist. Let the dentist evaluate you. This is something that I can help you with nutrients, vitamin C, of course, Super Green Essential Source. These are great. Oil pulling, we talked about that a while ago, where you take some either extra virgin organic coconut or sesame oil and just swish it around in between your teeth for up to 15 minutes a day. And that really helps with gum health and circulation, kills viruses, germs, bacteria. But if you have plaque built up on those teeth, you got to do what's called a deep cleaning. I had one done a while ago because I was better than that. I knew better. And I ate right, and I flossed, and I brushed, and I water picked, and everything was great, and I didn't have a problem. I went to my dentist, who's a friend of mine. He says, "Is this hurt?" Bam! He poked. Yes. He said, "You got a lot of inflammation in your gums." And he had to numb me up and scrape my gums. And it took two sessions, because they do one at a time, one section at a time. And boy, let me tell you, since then, my breath feels great. I have more energy. Because I have this low-grade chronic infection. My body's constantly fighting this infection. And I don't like that. You want to not have infections in your body, but that's a chronic low-grade infection. It's like breast implants. Okay, chronic infections. I remember when they first came out way back when, and they were all the rage. Still all the rage, actually. And did you know they have to be replaced every 10 years? I never knew that. I just heard that recently. And women I've spoken to, and I said, nobody ever told me I have to get them replaced every now and then. And I've seen some of them, and these are rare exceptions, where the mold is actually growing all around the breast implant when they remove it. So you got mold growing inside your body, your immune system's going nuts, so not a fan of that, by the way. So the gums got to clean them out. So any symptom your body gives you is a signal, not a mistake. It's not saying, oh, there's something, I shouldn't have given you that gum infection. I shouldn't give you a heart palpitation. The trick is learning how to read these symptoms and then what to do about it. That's the key to health. Not just saying, yes, I have the symptoms. How can I treat it? That's fine. You want to treat your symptoms? I go for that 100%. I got a headache. I want to get rid of it. I got sciatic pain. I want to get rid of it. I got digestive problems. I want to get rid of it. But why? Why did I have this problem to begin with? And that's where I come in, me and my team of doctors. So if you have a health issue, neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, headaches, numbness, tingling, muscle weakness, hunched over posture, digestive issues, gas, bloating, diarrhea, constipation, come see us. In the Atlanta area, we have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. I want to be your doctor. I really do. We give you all this information. You have podcasts. You have drjoe.com. We have the radio shows archived there. We have articles I've written. Social media, we post every single day for you. It costs a lot of work and money to do that. I don't get paid for that. Why do I do it? I do it because I want you to have this information. So you have social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn. You have Dr. Joe for the Health of It podcast. You have drjoe.com. We have our radio shows on live on the air and archived on the website. On the bottom of the page, bottom of the home page, it says Dr. Joe Show, which is radio shows, and then the podcast. All of that I give you for free. And I'll answer your questions for you. Again, I'll answer 1 or 2 questions. You have more than that, you need to come see me. drjoe.com, just send me your questions. I do this because I've been doing this for 40 years. Now it's fun. I really enjoy what I do because I love watching people get well. So if you have a health issue, just make an appointment. Normally the first visit is $940. I've reduced that to $299. That's an exam, x-rays, consultation, first treatment, going over the x-rays, and a complete nutrition evaluation. Any one of those things is going to cost you more than that. The exam and the treatment, the x-rays, the nutrition consultation, any one of those is more than that. I do that because I want to find out what's going to be the best source, the best course of treatment for you. Is it chiropractic? Is it nutrition? Is it gastroenterologist, orthopedist, neurologist, neurosurgeon, psychiatrist, gynecologist? I don't know. Make an appointment. Let's find out. Wouldn't that be fun to get healthy and not be sick all the time? So just make your appointment. And all the supplements we talk about, by the way, again, the minimum supplements would be Super Greens, Essential Source, Vitamin D, and B Complex. I mean, any of those are good, but that would be like my starter kit if you can do that. And then nitric oxide, open up your blood vessels, increase circulation to your brain, your heart, your sex organs. Phenomenal. Love my nitric oxide because it makes you feel good. I take vitamin D, helps with depression, helps with some immune systems, absolutely. But when you take the nitric oxide, bam, you feel it. If you have low blood pressure, be careful with it. Don't take too much. Kind of, start out very, very slow, maybe half a capsule. We have chewables now. Dr. Joe's Energy Chewables. It's nitric oxide and ginseng. Nitric oxide stimulant and ginseng. Opens up the blood vessels. Great for energy. Great for mood. Great. It's an aphrodisiac, and they taste great. And you can take them a couple of times a day. People are loving the chewables. They're going nuts over them. So that's all on the website, too. All the supplements are on the website in the store section, drjoe.com. And if you have questions about a specific issue or a supplement, just email me. But make an appointment to come see us. That's the best thing you can do. drjoe.com. Let's help get to the cause of your healthcare problems. Some other things that just came in recently in the office. A patient came in restless leg syndrome. Now, it could be a circulatory issue, could be an iron issue, could be magnesium, even folate. In rare cases, it could be folate. But the nervous system is begging for nutrients when it's that excitable. ADD, ADHD, anxiety, depression, oftentimes nutritional deficiencies and digestive problems. If your digestive system isn't working, you're not breaking down your food and absorbing your nutrients properly. You can just look in a toilet and see how you're absorbing your nutrients. If you look in the toilet and there's grease on top of the toilet after you go to the bathroom, you're not breaking down your fats. If everything's floating all over the place, not a good idea. You're not absorbing your nutrients in many cases. So we can do as far as that. If we want to go that deep, we can. But restless leg syndrome, nutrient deficiency, and we talked about pinched nerves in the low back. Many times the restless leg syndrome is a pinched nerve in the low back because those nerves control the back, hips, legs, knees, and ankles, but also control your colon, sex organs, and bladder. So along with restless leg syndrome, many times, not always, I see gas, bloating, diarrhea, constipation, urinary leakage, sexual dysfunction for men and women. Got to fix the nerves to make it work. It's pretty amazing. When you get the nervous system tuned up, you get the digestive system working, and you get the right nutrients in the body, it's pretty incredible what happens to the body. Is it going to solve every problem? No, but it's going to solve a lot of them. Once again, you got to tune up the car to make it work right. What does a mechanic do? Car's making noise. Let's do a tune-up and let's see what happens first. Many times that solves the problem. So stop suffering. It just breaks my heart. So many of you listening right now are suffering needlessly. And it hurts me when you come to see me and you say, I've been suffering for 5, 10, 20, 30 years. Years not wasted, but years that it could have been so much better for you. had you been healthy? Just think for a second. Let's think hypothetically. What would your life be like if you were healthy right now? Wouldn't that be incredible? Not waking up in pain, not writhing when you have to get out of the bed, having energy to be able to go out after work, maybe have a social life, a dating life. And especially as you get older, it's a lot harder. It's a lot of work being a human, isn't it? You have to deal with interpersonal relationships. You have to deal with work. You have to go to work. You have to pay bills. You have to clean the house. You got to maintain the car, pay your insurance. It's a lot of work being us. So why not do it healthy? It's a lot more fun than doing it sick. drjoe.com. I digress. If you have a skin issue, dry, flaky skin, psoriasis, many times I find it's related to the liver. So what we have to do is say, okay, what am I doing to my liver? Am I beating the heck out of it? The answer is probably yes. So whenever I see a skin issue, my first advice is let's cut out all wheat and all dairy products for 2 weeks. Not a little, not a bite, not a nibble, not, oh, there's a little bit of gluten in my salad dressing. No wheat, no dairy, 2 weeks. Many cases of skin problems start to clear up after that. They start. They may not totally clear up, but they see improvement. And again, I hear that all the time. Well, why come my other doctors didn't tell me this? I've been putting lotions and potions and creams and rubs and scrubs and nothing's working. Well, the reason it's not working is the problem's coming from the inside out, not from the outside in. Now, if I have psoriasis and I'm itching like crazy, yeah, put some cortisone cream or something on it to numb the pain. But let's fix the liver. Let's get to the cause of the problem. And the liver is the fastest healing organ in the body. I can remove like 60, 70% of your liver and it'll grow back. Your heart won't do that. Your kidneys won't do that. Your liver, your spleen, your prostate, none of those will do that. But the liver regenerates itself. That's how vital the liver is. And so stop beating it up every day. I talk about the 7 deadly sins in nutrition, the 7 foods that are just beating the heck out of you. That would be alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, and artificial sweetener. And I know that's your whole diet. But alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, and artificial sweetener. Every one of them I have a substitute for or negotiation for. Okay, so if you want me to talk about that, I'm almost out of time. I won't do that today. But cut out the wheat and the dairy. And beer, by the way, has wheat in it, or has gluten in it, so be careful. I remember years ago, I told this story the other day on one of my radio shows. I was dating a girl named Donna, and she loved beer. Oh, did she love her beer. And every time she ate it, she had horrible digestive issues, sinuses blew up. I drank it, but she did it all the time. And I said to her, kind of off the cuff, I said, you know they have gluten-free beer. Well, that changed her life. I shouldn't have told her that because then she drank more beer. But I digress. Listen, I'm not going to get to all my notes today. I got so much more to cover. If you want a copy of today's show notes, and you should, they're absolutely free, just send me an email through the website, drjoe.com, and just put symptoms and causes in the email, and I will send you a copy of today's show notes, absolutely free. My gift to you. Take it, print it, delete it. I don't care what you do with it. But I want to give you this information. I do that for almost all my shows now because I want you to get the information. And I know I talk fast, and I know it's hard to remember all this, but if you write it down, you'll have something tangible in your hand. Do what you want with it. So drjoe.com. And any health question you have, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, drjoe.com. Send me your questions. I'll give you my answers. If you start hammering me with 5, 10, 15 questions, one after another, I'm just going to tell you to come see us. Now, you probably come see us anyway, but I'm just saying that every now and then somebody takes advantage of my generosity, and I'm just letting you know I can only do so much in an email, okay? drjoe.com. Had somebody come to me the other day, said, I bruise easily. Dr. Joe, every time I bump into something, I said, you on blood thinners? They said, no. Blood thinners, of course, you'll bruise easily. But the blood vessels, it's not a friend of mine, that's right. Oh, he's supposed to call my show the other day. He didn't. He's going to have, he has a weak blood vessel in his brain. They're going to have to do surgery on him. And he's my age, which is scary. And he said, I asked the doctor, how do I make my blood vessels stronger? They said, we don't know. So you want to do something called bioflavonoids. Bioflavonoids are found mainly in fruit, and they are nutrients that help make the blood vessels stronger. So vitamin C, but bioflavonoids are the key. So what's a really good source of inexpensive, high-concentrated, high-quality bioflavonoids? Dr. Joe's Essential Source. So I told him, I said, I'd start taking Essential Source now, before your surgery, and then after the surgery, do it again. I have a lot of doctors send me cases, whether it's brain surgery or knee or hip or shoulder or ankle or digestion, and say, Joe, get this person healthy enough so that I can do surgery on them. And I do. In fact, I've actually canned programs. And if you work for an insurance company, by the way, if you're an insurance adjuster, or if we have programs for high blood pressure, diabetes, obesity, and smoking, and it's a canned program. It's a class. I teach it. You go through it. We have supplements included, and they love that stuff because insurance adjusters want you to get off their books. I'd love to say they want you to get well, and maybe they do, but they want to get you off their books. And if you're too sick to have surgery, too sick to get the treatment that you need, they send them to me. So if you have any questions about that, send me an email. I'll send you the protocol for it. And we have a website set up, a separate website, but I digress on that. But yeah, I'm putting together bundles, we call it. This is the bundle. Because I can give you classes, I can recommend supplements. Here's the bundle. Just do this. And we'll probably do bundles for just about everything soon because it works so well. Thin eyebrows. This is something, because my eyebrows have thinned out over the years. And so I said, let me check my thyroid. And my thyroid is fine. And I check my iodine levels, my selenium levels, my zinc levels. They're all fine. But that's oftentimes a sign of thyroid problems. So real wispy eyebrows could be a thyroid question. We want to get a thyroid test done. And you want to get not just your thyroid, but your free T3 and your T4 tested. Sometimes they just test T3, but not the free T3. And I won't go into that today, but it's an issue. Light sensitivity. I have macular degeneration. I was diagnosed maybe 10, 15 years ago, and a doctor said, it's going to get worse. You're probably going to go blind. So I really did work. And if you want with the protocol I used, send me an email through the website. Just say macular degeneration. I'll send you the protocol I use. But really, Super Green's an essential source. We're the winners for that. Because every year when I go now, for about 8 years, it got better and better and better and better, and now it's stabilized. And the doctor says you have a very mild case of drusen, which will eventually become macular degeneration in many cases. And they said it's very mild at this point. Looking back, you had a pretty bad case of it, and now it's gotten better. So what excites me is actually getting better as I'm getting older. And that's what I want you to know. There's hope. No guarantees, but there's hope for neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, digestive issues, acid reflux, brain malfunction, loss of memory, brain fog, all the things we talked about today, and I got a bunch more I didn't even cover today. So if you're serious about wanting to get well, send me a question through the website, drjoe.com. But the best thing you can do, that's just general information, come see us. Let's check your nervous system. Let's check your digestive system. Let's check your diet. Let's talk about specific supplement protocols specifically for you. Let's get to the cause of the problem. I had a patient come in 2 weeks ago, and he said, Dr. Joe, I started doing all your supplements and eating exactly how you told me to. I said, what are the results? He goes, oh my God, I can't believe how good I am. And more importantly, he kind of smiled. He goes, I can't believe how much money I'm saving. He says, the money I'm saving on just food alone pays for the supplements, care at your treatment, at your offices, and I still have money left over. So anyway, I'm almost out of time. drjoe.com. Follow me on social media. I want to be your doctor. Let's get to the cause of your healthcare problems, not just treat the symptoms. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time. All right. I really need another hour or so on every show. I've never got it done. All right, what you got?
Can anything be done for athlete's foot?
Yes. Athlete's foot oftentimes come from the inside out, not from the outside in. And that's a novel way to look at things because the fungus, in your colon, you have good bacteria and bad bacteria, about 100 different types. But you also have something called yeast. And yeast is there to help digest sugars. So what happens is you did something to throw off the balance between the good bacteria, bad bacteria, and yeast. Many times it's antibiotics. Now, it could be chlorine from a swimming pool. I've had a lot of swimmers have this problem. Chlorine is an antibiotic. Could be you exposed to glyphosate, weed killer. And that gets into the colon and kills off the good bacteria. And so it kills off the bacteria, but not the yeast. So the yeast start to multiply. And now the yeast go, I'm bored. I want to get out of the colon. Let's go somewhere else. So it gets into the blood system. It's called leaky gut syndrome. 40 years ago when I talked about leaky gut syndrome, I was told I was a quack and an idiot. Now it's standard medical procedure. Leaky gut syndrome, what to do about it. They give you drugs, of course. So the yeast gets into the blood system. It wants to settle in warm, moist places. How about the feet? How about the crotch? How about the mouth? How about the vagina? How about the anus? And so they're all very similar. Jock itch, yeast infections, athlete's foot. So we can treat it from the outside in, but we also want to treat it from the inside out. So send me an email. I'll send you the supplement protocol to help rebuild the bacteria in your colon and kill off the yeast in your colon. So, what else?
How do I reduce inflammation?
Everything I've taught you for the past 40 years. Cut out the alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, and artificial sweetener. Eat more fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds. Take super greens, essential source, vitamin D, B complex, digestive enzymes, depending on how old you are. Glutathione help clean out the liver, omega-3 fatty acids. So send me that question through the website, and I'll send you the whole protocol because I don't want to spend a half hour on that. But it's changing your diet and fixing the physical issues because my knee is out of place. It's going to cause chronic inflammation. If my spine is out of place, chronic inflammation. So you got to realign everything, get you off the bad foods, get you on the good foods, and that's really the cause of all disease, or certainly the link to the cause of all disease is inflammation. So, what else?
Which foods are high in magnesium?
Nuts and seeds are very high in magnesium, which is great. Avocado is a great source of magnesium. And the good news is, finally, we are going to have Dr. Joe's Vital Magnesium coming out probably this week. So check back in a couple of days. As soon as we get it in, we got to put it on the website. So maybe in a week or so, and I'm going to have you start taking Dr. Joe's magnesium supplement every day as well. So, what else?
Is it unhealthy to get in an infrared sauna every day for yoga and Pilates?
No, it's good for you. It's wonderful. Red light therapy is, I've used it for years, and now it's finally coming its own. We have lasers, red light lasers, in every one of our offices. We use it every day on patients. So that's a higher focus than a red light sauna, but the red light sauna is great. So, what else? Helps detoxify heavy metals. One of the few ways to get rid of heavy metals, actually.
What can you suggest for high liver enzymes?
You got to clean out the liver. Send me an email. I'll send you a show I did on liver, and then I'll send you the protocol. Because you got to stop beating up the liver, man. Those enzymes are high. That's nature's way of telling you, hey, I can't take any more. Stop hitting me. So, what else?
Can wheat and dairy cause acne?
Yes. That's the easiest way to start treating acne is cut out wheat and dairy. And see what happens. If you need more help, let me know. But cut out the wheat and the dairy. That's step one. What else, John? Got a lot of them today.
What are your thoughts on gluten-free beer?
I'm not a fan of beer, but if you're going to drink beer, absolutely gluten-free, yes. But I'm not a fan of beer. But it's better than regular beer. So it's my story I told about the girl Donna I used to date. Yes. Whatever happened to her? God, that was probably 30 years ago. So, what else?
That is all.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms, or else I'm going to have John come live with you. That's what's going to happen. So, all right, guys.